Hi, Happy New Year. This is going to be a pretty intermediate flow, but let's get started in a seat. Whatever feels best, you might want to sit on a pillow or a block to sit yourself up. Put the sit bones down on the ground. Take a moment to close your eyes and let's tune into the body. First, bringing awareness to the breath, just observing, no changing or manipulating. How's it flowing? Mine's flowing nice and fast because I just drank a cappuccino. Just paying attention to the depth of the breath and noticing where it feels like it fills up into when you take your inhale. And we really want to focus on breathing using our diaphragm. So hopefully you can take big, full breaths all the way down. So when you inhale, your belly moves outward. And as you exhale, it moves back in, belly button towards the spine. Starting to change the breath, slowing it down purposefully, with the intention of stepping foot into this practice as we may be trying to step into this year. Mindfully, intentionally. And then see if you can find any tension in the body and kind of let it just fall down to the earth, like you were shedding a layer. Take a few more really big, deep breaths. With each one, see if you can lengthen your spine a little bit more and open your heart space as much as you can. And take a moment, keep your eyes closed, but start to drop your chin towards the chest, nice and gently. Start to move the head around, going right, going left, and this may or may not resonate with you, but this year my intention stepping forward is to do less. I think a lot of times in the new year, I try to set intentions to do certain things, put more work in, journal more, meditate more, run more. But this year I'm really thinking about softening, just taking all that tension, all that stress, all those shoulds in our life, and just letting them go. Finding presence in each moment and really tuning in to center, knowing what am I supposed to be doing right now? And following the path of this exact moment rather than the path that you set for yourself and having to do all the work and feeling like you need to be doing certain things. And once you feel nice and warm in the neck, let's flicker open the eyes and then we'll find tabletop to start. So bring your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and start to move in whatever feels good for you. So if that means cat-cows, feel free, belly drops, chin lifts for the cow, pull the belly up for the cat, but maybe it means moving side to side. It might mean going back into child's pose and moving forward. It might mean really, really little movement or continuing to move the neck around. Just kind of noticing how the spine moves as one unit. And how when you move one part of the spine, then the rest of it kind of reverberates that movement. So like a spinal wave. And see if you can start to move your spine in all different directions. So it can go side to side, up and down, and then see if you can find a space in between where it's neither side to side nor up and down, but kind of just wherever it wants to go. And it might feel weird. You might be like, wow, I look so silly right now. But that's okay. I feel that way too. But a healthy spine is a spine that we move And realistically, I think a healthy spine means healthy body, healthy mind, because we all know how grumpy we can get when our back is hurting. So let's just move it around, but be gentle, be aware, be intentional about where that movement's taking you. Okay, let's get off the wrist. We'll walk our hands back, coming to stand on our knees. And then we're going to do these things called prayer curls. So what we're going to do is bring one hand in front of you and the other hand in front. So the tops of the hands facing towards each other. And then cross one arm on top of the other. And it doesn't really matter which. And then we'll interlace the fingers together. So arms are crossed. And then as we exhale, we're going to sit our hips down towards our heels. Bring our arms down and in and tuck in, bringing the head down towards the earth. And then as you inhale, we're going to bring the hands up overhead, unrelease, hands go down, and then all the way up, lifting the heart space up, reach tall. We're going to do that a few more times. So as you exhale, hips go to heels, bring the hands down, in, curl them around, chin comes down. Inhale, hands come up, untwist and lift. Exhale, bring it down, pull it in. A few more times, inhale, bring it all the way up, lift tall. Ooh, I almost fell. Exhale, bring it down. That's what cappuccinos do to me. Inhale, lift, reach tall. Exhale, bring it down. Last two. Inhale, bring the hands all the way up. Exhale, bring them all the way down. Last one. Inhale, hips lift. Let's hold this one this time. Maybe you take it into a really, really gentle baby back bend. And then this time as you exhale, untuck the toes, reach the hands forward. Find child's pose, press the hips towards the heels. Behind you as you reach the hands forward. And with this one, what I really want is for you to walk your hands as far forward as you can. Pull your hips as far back towards the heels as you can. And then press into the hands and lift the back of your heart space up towards the ceiling. You should feel a really good stretch through the shoulders here. And if you don't, keep reaching the hands long and then lift up through the back of the heart space even more. Beautiful release. Let's nice and slow plant the forearms down to the earth. And we're going to find ourselves on our hips for Sphinx pose. Flip to the tops of the feet. Forearms are parallel to each other in front of you. Plant the hands, palms facing down on the mat. And then press the tops of the feet down into the mat. Squeeze the glutes. Lift the knees by engaging the quads. And then lift up through the heart space. Pull your shoulders out wide. And to protect your lower back, keep squeezing those glutes and see if you can bring the arch more into your upper back than the lower back. So really try to think about pulling your elbows towards the hips, and it brings your chest forward. Beautiful, nice and slow. Let the heart space drop down. Pull the hands back towards the outside of the heart space. Then we're going to do 3 rolling cobras. So inhale, cobra pose. Lift up again. This time, pull the hands pull back towards the hips like you could scoot yourself forward. We're going to lengthen through the spine first, and then think about the heart space lifting, again, curling through the upper back rather than the lower back. Exhale, release, let it go. 2 more times just like that. Inhale, lift, cobra. Exhale, release. Last one, plant to the tops of the feet. Squeeze the legs, squeeze the glutes. Pull the hands towards the hips, lengthen through the spine. Lift, cobra, hold for 3. Engage the entire back. Lift the hands for 2. 1, release, let it go. Tuck the toes underneath the feet. Inhale through your tabletop. And then this time we're going to exhale, find downward facing dog. So first find your high plank. Wrists underneath the shoulders so that we know the distance from our hands to our feet. And then nice and slow, pull the hips all the way up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Maybe you lift and drop the heels a couple times. And then again, finding that spinal movement. We're going to inhale at the back of the heart space, pull you forward, tuck the chin towards the chest as you bring yourself forward into a high plank position. Shoulders on top of the wrist, lengthen through the spine, crown of the head reaches forward. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend the knees really deep. Stay low with the knees. Press the tailbone towards the back of the room behind you. And then start to straighten the legs. Find downward facing dog. 3 times with the breath. Inhale, pull yourself forward, high plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips go up and back. 2 more. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, bring it back. Really find that breath if you can. Inhale big through the nose. Inhale, fill up completely. This time out the mouth. Exhale, bring it back downward facing. Keep the legs where they are. Inhale, look forward in between the hands. This time walk the feet forward to the front of the mat, little baby footsteps at a time. And when I do this, I try to stay on the balls of my feet and really engage my core. So keeping my shoulders really, really even, keeping on pressing down into the hands like I was trying to press my heart space in my head away from the mat, making room for my feet to sit underneath the shoulders, bend the knees, release the heart space, let it go. Find your ragdoll pose, shake it out, sway side to side, let it feel good. As you inhale, find your halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, release, let it go. Inhale, find your halfway lift, lengthen. This time, keep the straight spine. Find a micro bend in the knees, and then we'll inhale upwards so that hands come all the way up overhead. Reach tall. Grab your left wrist with your right hand, reach out of the left hip, and then stretch over to the right, continuing to lengthen the spine as you find that stretch. One time, inhale, back out just a little bit, lengthen through the spine even more, and then as you exhale, go a little bit deeper. This time we're going to bend the knees and just let the heart space release to the right, and then down, back to ragdoll. Inhale, find your halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, release, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Find that long straight spine. Upward salute, hands come all the way up. This time grabbing the right wrist, pull up and out of the right hip, and then stretch over towards the left. Again, one time, back out. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, lift tall. And then exhale, go a little bit deeper. Continuing to go left, we're going to kind of let ourselves drop back out into the ragdoll pose. So bend the knees and let the heart space just drop all the way down, ragdoll. Inhale, find your halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. And then as you exhale, take your left foot back, find your runner's lunge, hands frame the right foot. And then let's rock back and forth, massaging through the ball of that left foot. And as you pull the hips back, you might even flex the right foot, kind of straighten the right leg. Moving forward, back. Noticing how it feels to ground down into the feet, move around. Then we'll settle down into the feet, set up the legs, hip width distance with the feet, and then hands come up overhead. Find your high lunge crescent pose. Reach the hands tall. Palms facing in, pull the shoulders down and away from the ears, but think about more of pulling them out towards the side rather than just shoving them towards the hips. That feels a little awkward in my shoulders. Pull the left hip forward, right hip back. And then as you sit into the right knee, see how it feels to straighten through that left leg. It feels really crunchy in the lower back. Don't do it. You can keep that bend. But if it feels okay, let's straighten it. Lift up through the heart space even more. Nice and slow. Let's bend really deep into both the knees so you're hovering with the left knee above the ground. Cactus the arms. Don't find the back bend yet. Just keep the shoulders neutral over the hips. Now let's find the back bend, but think about the forearms leading you. So forearms come back, opening up through the shoulders, and then press the heart space forward, finding a little bit of a back bend here, lifting the chin. Take a big inhale. Exhale, power lunge. Swoop the hands forward, straighten through the left leg as the heart space comes forward. Beautiful. Hands come to the heart center. Long, straight spine. Nice and slow, launch onto the right leg. Find your warrior three with hands at heart. And then we're going to bring the left leg in and find chair pose. So start to bend the right knee. Left foot comes to meet the right. And the hands come up overhead. You got it. I like to bring my big toes to touch. You might find hip width distance with the feet. Sit the hips low, lift up through the heart space, reach tall through the fingers. And then again, same thing here. We're going to cactus the arms. Sit a little deeper into the legs. Keep the shoulders neutral above the hips once. And then we'll find that back bend, pull the forearms first. Heart goes forward, back bend, find it. And then as we exhale, we'll find like bear pose variation with feet together. Reach the hands forward. Big inhale here. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. And shake it out. First time in your forward fold. See what it feels like to straighten the legs. And if it doesn't feel good, bend the knees. Take a few breaths. Now let's find some movement in these ankles. So we're going to bend really deep into the knees. Let the tailbone drop down as you lift the heels. Lift up through the heart space. And then as you exhale, let the heart space go. Drop the head. 2 more times just like that. Inhale, bend the knees deep. Lift up the heart. Exhale, let it go. 1 more time. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heels, drop the hips. Exhale, fold. This time halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, right leg goes back. Find your runner's lunge position. And then moving into these feet, finding the feet moving forward and back, massaging through the ball of the right foot. You might choose to lift the left toes, straighten the left leg, go forward and back. And then we'll find grounding in the feet, setting up for high crescent, finding a hip width distance stance with the feet. Find it in the hips and the legs first, and then we'll bring the hands up overhead, reach tall, shoulders stack up on top of the hips. Again, find it in the feet and in the left leg. See what it feels like to have this really long spine. And then see if it feels okay. Start to straighten that right leg. Sit a little lower into the left knee. If that feels crunchy in your lower back, bend into the right knee. Totally fine. But if you can, let's straighten it. And then nice and slow. Bend deep into both of the knees like the right knee was hovering above the ground. Cactus the arms. Stay with a neutral spine to begin. Let the forearms lead you into a back bend. Pull the forearms back. Press the heart space forward. Find that little baby back bend. Power lunge, straighten through the right leg as the hands come forward. Chest comes forward. Long, straight diagonal line from the right heel out to the fingertips. Hands come to the heart center. Warrior 3 with hands at heart start to launch onto the left leg. Right leg lifts. Nice and slow, let's find chair pose. Start to bend into the left knee, bend into the right knee, bring the right toes to meet the left toes. Hands come up overhead. Sit even lower. Sit even lower. Take a big inhale, lift the heart space. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, find halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, find high plank. Move the feet back, however feels best for you. Moving through an upward facing dog, we'll inhale, charge the heels forward. Exhale, come halfway down, elbows just outside the rib cage. Pull the heart space through, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing, hips go up and back. Take a few breaths here. Three-legged dog, ground into the left foot. Right leg goes high. And be really mindful as you lift that right leg. Keep the hips square down towards the ground. So this right leg might be right here. That's totally fine. Lift it as high as you can with hips square and right leg straight. And then 3 times we'll do right knee to nose. Pull it in. Find your high plank pose. Squeeze. Inhale, three-legged dog, right leg goes high. 2 more times just like that. Exhale, squeeze. Three-legged, right leg goes high. Last one, exhale, squeeze it in. Pull it in. Inhale, right leg goes high. Last time, exhale, right knee to nose, but this time we're planting the foot at the front of the mat. Warrior 2. Spin the left heel down. Swing open the arms, find your T. And square the hips. Make sure the shoulders are squared off towards the side, right on top of the hips. Hands go long, elongate through the fingertips. Gaze comes over the right fingertips. See if you can close your eyes. Finding that internal awareness. Nothing to focus on but the breath. Trying to find these little moments of meditative space inside the asana. Last few breaths if you want to sit a little bit lower. Star pose, hands come up overhead, straighten both of the legs, toes go out. And then exhale, find Skandasana to the back of the mat, bend into the left knee, hands come to heart center. And then we'll find a little bit of mobility here. So if it feels okay, and you might be here in Skandasana with both feet planted, coming halfway down into bend into that knee. If you are, stay here. If you're all the way down, we'll find a little bit of mobility. Drop the hips down to the ground. Bring that left knee in towards the right knee. Drop the chest towards the right knee as the hands go back. And then we'll go all the way back. So lift the chest, hands come to heart, plant down into the left foot. Lift the hips. We're going to change it up just a little bit this time. Drop the hips. This time, right leg swings, lift it. Right heel drops. See if you can pull the chest forward. Kind of hard inside that left knee, and then pull it back up. Lift the right heel, swing all the way back. To the other side of the mat, lift the hips, find Skandasana. And we'll do that one more time, both of the variations. So drop the hips, left knee comes in, heart space to the right knee, and then lift it up, hands to heart. Lift the left knee, plant the left foot, lift the hips. Skandasana, hold. Other variation, drop the hips, lift the right leg, try to move nice and slow. Plant the right heel to the left side of the mat or back side of the mat. Heart space comes forward, lift it back up, hands to heart, right heel swings. Woo. I should have done that slower. Lift the hips, find Skandasana, and move all the way back to Warrior 2, front of the mat. Nice and slow in the hips, bend into the right foot, bend into the right knee rather. Hands come open. This time let's lift the right heel, bend really deep into that right knee, find your reverse warrior, right hand goes high. Lengthen through the right side body, reach the right fingertips high. Sit even lower, a few more breaths here. Easy twist, drop the right heel, spin the arms down, left hand drops inside the right foot, right hand goes up overhead. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, side plank, spin to the outside of the left foot. Right leg either comes on top of the left foot, staggers in front, or you can find tree legs. Let it shake if it needs to. We're here for 5 deep breaths. Everyone meets in high plank. Bring the right foot back to meet the left. Plant the right hand. Connecting Vinyasa. Inhale, charge the heels forward. Exhale, come halfway down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Hips go up and back. 4 or 5 breaths here. If you need to take a child's pose. If you're in child's pose, let's refine downward facing dog. Moving into 3-legged dog, this time on the left side. Again, keep those hips square. Like really think about it before you lift your left leg, and then nice and slow lift that left leg up. Keep it straight. Again, it might just be right here. You might lift up, but square the hips, lengthen through the left foot. 3 times we'll exhale, left knee to nose as you pull the shoulders forward into a high plank position. Inhale, left leg goes up high. Exhale, left knee to nose, pull it in. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, bring it up. This time we're bringing it all the way through. Left knee to nose to begin. Plant the left foot at the front of the mat. Set up for Warrior 2. Spin the right heel down. Tee open the arms. Find the breath. Square the hips and the shoulders. Really press into the outside edge of your right foot. Sit down into that left knee. Lift up through the heart space. Maybe you close your eyes. A few more breaths if you want to sit a little bit lower. Find softness in the face. Star pose, toes out, heels in, hands go high, and then exhale when you're ready, Skandasana. Hips go to the back of the mat, bend into the right knee. And then again, if you're here in Skandasana, totally fine. But if you're all the way down here, option to stay here, or we'll find that mobility. So we'll drop the hips, bring the right knee in towards the left. Hands go back as you drop this heart space towards the left knee. Bring it up, hands to heart. Right knee lifts, pull the hips up, Skandasana. And we'll do the other variation. So drop the hips, nice and slow. Lift the left foot, swing it to the back side of the mat. Hands come back, drop the heart. Bring it all the way up, hands to heart. Swing the left leg all the way around, nice and slow. Refinding Skandasana, lift the hips. And sit the hips back down. Bring that left leg in, squeezing that inner thigh to bring it all the way. Drop the heart space towards the left knee, and then bring it up. Then again, nice and slow. Lift the left heel. Oh, I forgot to do the first variation, so we'll do it here. Lift the hips, sit the hips back down, drop the right knee down, heart to the left knee, wherever you're at with your mobility, and then we'll pick the hips up, Skandasana. Moving all the way back into our warrior two, we'll plant down into the left foot. Be careful in the hips and the knees. As you bend into the left knee, hands open up wide. This time we'll lift the left heel, find reverse warrior, left hand goes up and back. The right hand might stay on the right leg. If it is, make sure you're not pressing down into it. That's why I always find this half bind here with my right hand. Really lengthen through the left side body. Sit lower into that left knee. Deep breaths. Easy twist, plant the left heel. Cartwheel the hands down, but left hand goes high, right hand goes inside the left leg. Option one, stay right here. Option two, side plank. Left foot either comes back to meet the right foot, or you can find tree legs, or any other variation that feels good for you. Take 5 breaths here. High plank, drop the left hand, left foot comes back to meet the right. Connecting Vinyasa, pull the shoulders forward, come halfway down. Upward facing dog, pull the heart space through. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips go up and back. Camel pose, let's drop the knees. Shoulders come on top of the hips, hands come to the lower back. Lift up through the spine. Option one, stay right where you are. Option two, keep the hips where they are, but let the heart space round. Really think about, again, rolling through that upper back, arching through the upper back without dumping into the lower thoracic spine. Really stay sturdy in the lower back. Lift through the heart. And then think about the back of your heart space, center, being pushed forward as your shoulders drop back. Maybe you drop the hands to the heels. And we're here for 4 breaths. So release, bring the hands back to the hips, with the shoulders on top of the hips. And then we'll find head to knee pose, Janushirshasana. So we'll sit the hips down, bring one foot in forward. Let's bring the right foot in forward. And then left foot comes to the inside of the right leg. And we'll start by squaring the shoulders off towards the right foot, and then slowly letting the shoulders drop down towards the right foot. You might choose to grab the right foot with the hands. And then option one is to stay right here. Option two is to find a side body opener. So what you'll do is you'll bring the right elbow in front of this right knee, and then lift the left shoulder on top of the right shoulder and really reach through this left hand. And I'm not quite super flexible in my left side body, but if you are, you could even go all the way, grab the right foot. Just really try to keep opening the heart space up towards the ceiling. To release, we'll lift the shoulders on top of the hips, bring the left hand back behind the left hip, right hand goes up high. Come onto your left knee as you press the hips up towards the sky, opening up through the front body. And then we'll bring it back down. And switch out sides. Left foot goes forward, right foot comes to the inside of the left leg. Square the shoulders off towards the left foot and start to walk the hands down towards the left toes. Really lengthen through the spine as you drop. And again, for this first one, keep the shoulders squared towards the ground. If you want to stay here, stay here. If you want that side body stretch, left elbow inside the left knee. Right hand goes up high and reaches over the head for a big right side body stretch. Keep pressing your right hip down towards the ground. As you reach through the right fingertips, maybe even grab the left toes overhead if you can keep the heart space lifted while doing that. Gentle release. Let's bring the right hand up, plant it behind the right hip. The left hand goes up overhead, press the hips up towards the sky. Big open side body and front body. Release, let it go. Let's bring the feet in front of us, plant them down, bend the knees nice and slow. We'll roll all the way down onto our back. Keep the knees as they are. Bring the hands out to a cactus or a T, and then gently just drop the knees over towards the right. If you want more, you can stack the right heel on top of the left knee, pulling it even closer down towards the ground. Maybe you look towards the left to get even deeper into the twist. Switching out sides, plant the right foot. If you lifted it, bring the knees up through center, drop them to the left. Maybe the left heel crosses on top of the right knee as you look to the right. Release the left foot, bring the knees up through center, give yourself one last squeeze. Hands wrap around the shins as you squeeze the chin towards the chest. And then we'll release Shavasana pose, let the legs go long, let the hands release. Maybe you scoot the shoulders underneath the heart space to lift it just a little bit. And then if you want a moment of mindfulness before you let yourself settle in fully into Shavasana, maybe you think about all of the lessons of 2023. The things you learned and you want to keep, you want to hold on to in your heart space as you move forward into this next year. And the things you want to let go of. Everything in your life has served you in one way or the other, and some things just will not serve you as you move and you step forward into this next year, into this next chapter. How can you release them? Sometimes it takes time, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of imagination and visualization of releasing them. Again, like earlier, imagine it as being a layer of yourself that you can just shed off. Maybe you even imagine it right now, like a weight being lifted from your entire body and it just melts down into the ground. And then whatever you soften into, whatever's left there after you're shedding, that's you. It's your time to shine bright, to shine with an open heart, a full heart. Sinking back into awareness, sinking back into love, into connection. And let's take one last breath together. As you inhale, I want you to think about all of those things, all of the things you love, all of that stuff in your life that you want to shine your light on, fill it up. With your inhale, let it fill you with light and love and joy. And then big exhale, let the rest go. Sinking into Shavasana. And if you feel called to stay right here a little bit longer, please feel free to do so. I always encourage rest as long as you can. If you're ready to get out, let's start by moving the fingers and the toes. Bringing the arms up overhead. Letting yourself feel light as you do this. Bring the knees to the chest. And drop onto one of your sides. Letting yourself really sink into the residue of practice, into the practice not just of yoga and asana, but the practice of intention setting and taking one foot at a time in your path, in your alignment, in the direction that you're meant to go, not holding on to anything that you don't need to be. Let yourself sit up. Whenever you're ready, taking a bow to yourself, honoring yourself, gratitude for your body, your life, your love, your light. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I hope you have a very happy new year. Namaste.